What really happened that day in Gyeongseong? Why did Joong Ki suddenly return, with his son in his arms? The quiet streets turned into an emotional whirlwind as fans caught a glimpse of a moment no one expected. Join red carpet revealed as we dive into this unforgettable scene and uncover the story behind it. Right now, the crisp morning air in Dalso district, Daegu, carried a different kind of silence on that day, one filled with anticipation, nostalgia, and a mystery that quickly swept the internet into a frenzy. Locals who were used to their quiet corner of South Korea suddenly found themselves at the heart of a moment that would soon move an entire nation. Why? Because Joong Ki, the beloved actor known not only for his screen brilliance but also for his real-life warmth, had returned. But this time, he wasn't alone. Gently against his chest, wrapped in a soft cream-colored blanket, was a baby boy, his son. A visit without warning. There had been no official schedule, no announcements from agencies, no media crew, just a single black van that rolled up along Bisandong, where Joong Ki once played soccer in the dusty fields as a young boy. He wore a simple baseball cap, a mask, and a long black coat. But fans recognized him instantly, not because of the clothes, but because of the way he moved, careful, deliberate, protective. The surprise wasn't just in his appearance, but in who he brought with him. This marked the first time Joong Ki publicly appeared with his son in Korea, and not just anywhere, but here, in Gyeongseong, where his life began, the park that held his childhood. The actor walked slowly toward Sangso Central Park, a modest but deeply meaningful place where his parents used to bring him. Locals recall the young Joong Ki riding his bike around the pond and running through the cherry blossom-lined pathways during spring. This time, instead of running, he was walking steadily, pacing himself as if every step is a memory, every tree a story. When he reached a quiet bench facing the small lake, he sat down, held his son close, and simply watched the water. Fans, who had begun gathering at a respectful distance, didn't scream. They didn't swarm him. Some cried quietly. Others took blurry photos from afar. But most just stood still, hands to their hearts, witnessing the deeply emotional scene that unfolded in utter silence. I wanted him to see where I came from. Later that day, Joong Ki was approached by a brave local journalist from Daegu Daily, who simply asked, "Why today?" He paused, looked at his son, then answered with a soft, almost whisper-like tone, "I wanted him to see where I came from. Before he learns the world through cameras and scripts, I want him to feel something real, the warmth of this place, the air, the people." This is his story, too. The journalist didn't ask for more, and Joong Ki didn't offer more. But that short answer was enough to shake fans to their core. The reactions pour in. As soon as the first photos hit social media, most taken with care and distance, hashtags began trending. Joong Ki and son, Gyeongseong visit, father and son moments. Fans from across Korea and around the world began posting emotional messages. "I cried. That's all. I just cried." At HikeyFan91, "He didn't need to say a word. That moment said everything about the man he is." At Joong Ki, "Seeing him hold his son like that, I feel like I watched a K-drama come to life." But this was real. At Dramatiri 2025, the photos showed a father, not a superstar. No designer clothes, no entourage, just Joong Ki kneeling near a patch of wildflowers, pointing at a butterfly for his baby, who, judging by the baby's curious eyes, was mesmerized by the tiny creature fluttering nearby. Chapter begins. This moment didn't come out of nowhere. After marrying his British wife Katie Louise Saunders and welcoming their son in 2023, Joong Ki had kept family life extremely private. Even during press conferences and award shows, he dodged questions about his child, respectfully saying, "He is the most precious part of my life. I want to protect him from the world, at least for now." So, why now? Insiders speculate this visit may mark a turning point, not in terms of media openness, but perhaps in the way Joong Ki himself is embracing fatherhood in the public eye. One entertainment executive commented anonymously, "You can see it in his eyes, he's not there to perform, he's there to introduce his son to the soil, to the sky, to the place that made him." Around noon, Joong Ki walked through the narrow alleys near Durudong, where his family once lived in a two-story brick house with a small front yard. According to a neighbor, the house has remained largely untouched. Even the old mailbox, slightly rusted, still bears the faint print of the Song family name. Neighbors peeked through windows as the actor, now a father, stood silently in front of the gate. He didn't go in. He just stood there, holding his son a little tighter. An elderly woman opened her window and called out, "Joong Ki." He looked up, eyes softening. "Ni, halmoni. It's me." What followed was a tender exchange of greetings, laughter, and a few tears. She had known him as the polite boy who always carried his backpack high and greeted every neighbor with a bow. Now, she saw him carrying his future. As the quiet visit continued, Joong Ki was seen heading toward the outskirts of Palgong Mountain, specifically the serene Dongwasa Temple area, a place he had spoken about briefly in past interviews as his personal retreat during difficult times. But today, it wasn't just a place for reflection, it was a place of silent legacy. Wearing a modest gray hoodie, cap now removed, and his son still resting against his chest, Ki made his way toward a small family grave nestled in a quiet clearing near the base of the mountain. Locals later confirmed that it was the resting place of his grandfather, a figure who had meant a great deal to him growing up. No press followed. Only a single fan who had observed from afar said, "He knelt down with his baby, spoke to the grave for a long time, and then he cried." But it wasn't loud. It was like someone saying goodbye, but also saying thank you. Witnesses said the baby reached up to touch his father's cheek as the tears fell, and Joong Ki let out a soft laugh through the tears, whispering something no one could hear, something only for the two of them. The letter in his pocket. Later that evening, sources close to Joong Ki's management quietly confirmed something few people knew. Before arriving in Daegu, Joong Ki had written a letter addressed to his son. Though he hadn't planned to share it, the letter was later leaked online by a close acquaintance, sparking an even bigger emotional wave. The translated letter read, "To my son. One day, you'll walk these roads not as a visitor, but as someone who belongs here. You'll smell the trees I climbed, soil I fell on, the wind that helped your father become a man. I brought you here not to show you where I'm from, but to remind myself of where I must go, to be the father you deserve. The world is loud, may this place remind you of quiet strength. When your heart is heavy, may these skies carry you. I love you more than I ever thought I could love anyone. Appa." The internet exploded. Fans shared the letter like gospel, many adding their own stories of fathers, of hometowns, of moments lost and rediscovered. Surprise meeting. What made the visit even more heartwarming was an unplanned encounter near Somun Market, where Joong Ki stopped to buy his childhood favorite, hotteok, sweet syrup pancakes. A kind vendor, not recognizing him at first, offered the treat for free, saying, "It's on the house. Your baby is too adorable to charge you." Joong Ki smiled, then bowed deeply and insisted on paying. But when the vendor finally realized who he was, she gasped and said, "You were that boy who always helped carry groceries for elders." He laughed and replied, "Still trying to be that boy, halmoni." Was a moment of full circle connection, where the megastar, the father, and the once little boy from Daegu all became one. Agency's response. By nightfall, his agency Hizium Studio released a brief statement. "Today's visit was a private family matter. We appreciate the public's respectful distance." Joong Ki is deeply moved by the warmth of his hometown and hopes to return again with his family in the future. They declined to comment further but did not deny the content of the letter or the locations visited, silently affirming what fans already knew: this wasn't a publicity stunt. This was something deeply personal. Promised to his wife. Though Katie Louise Saunders did not appear in public during the trip, it was revealed through family insiders that she had encouraged the visit but chose to stay back in Seoul with her own parents, to give father and son a chance to bond. In a message reportedly sent from Katie to Joong Ki after seeing the first fan photos online, she wrote, "You two are everything to me. I see the man I love, holding the world we created. Come home safe, with a heart full of peace." Joong Ki reportedly read that message while waiting at Dongdaegu Station later that night, his son asleep in his arms. A fan who happened to be sitting nearby shared that he kissed his son's forehead and whispered, "Let's go home." this moment means for fans. This simple hometown visit, void of red carpets, award speeches, or flashing cameras, has now become a cultural moment in Korea. It reminded many that behind the gloss of fame are real people, real parents, real souls seeking connection. An emotional fan from Busan posted, "I've followed his career since Song Ki-eun's scandal. Today I didn't see an actor. I saw a son. I saw a father. I saw myself." Another international fan from the Philippines wrote, "The way he held his son, the way he honored his hometown. That's the kind of man I hope to become one day." Closing scene, the train window. The final image captured that day was one no paparazzi could have planned. As the train departed from Dongdaegu Station, An managed to snap a blurry photo of Joong Ki by the window, his son still sleeping in his arms. Actor gazed out quietly at the city lights fading behind him. On the foggy glass, just before the train pulled away, he drew something with his finger, a small heart. Beside the Korean character, ga, meaning home, and just like that, the moment ended. But for millions of fans, the story had just